Finally, Dan and Dago has returned, and I'm here to read the promos my way because I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Nothing else matters. Not the mortgage, not the store, not my compas. Oh, well, just for now. Not that Gilberto guy. But anyway, for those 60 seconds I'm reading the promo, I'm free, living life to the fullest because I'm Dan and Dago. And yes, those are quotes from the great Dominic Toretto. Go watch Fast and Furious 9 this weekend because that's an amazing movie franchise. And I'm sure the Compas will discuss F9 more in the coming weeks, especially if Gilberto gets caught up. We don't even know if he's seen him. What's up with that guy? But for right now, I'm discussing Brewery X in Anaheim. That's the place to be. They have the best beer menu, from hoppy to hazy, from dark to malty. Beer choices for everyone, so enjoy. So play Compas on the Beat in the car and drive over to Brewery X in Anaheim. You won't regret it. And tell them the Compas sent you. Do it. Do it now. Go to Brewery X in Anaheim. Now let's get to the grand guest for this week, Compas on the Beat, Chargers rookie edge rusher, Chris Rumph II. This might be the Compas' best interview yet, and they've already had Chad Johnson, also known as Chad Ochocinco, Rashawn Slater, and many other great guests. The Compas will also recap the mandatory minicamp and assess Drew Brees' visit with the Chargers. I heard a lot of great things from that guy talking about my quarterback. I'm real excited. Gets me super hyped for the season. I can't wait. But before we get to the show, make sure you subscribe to Compas on the Beat on YouTube and turn on notifications. And feel free to comment under every video. The Compas want to hear from you. Don't forget, Gilberto doesn't like avocado. What's up? Let him know in the comment section. Then he's talking trash about horror movies. Go let him know. And also, go subscribe to the audio version on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to rate and review. Now let's get to Compas on the Beat. Play the music, Nando! Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez, Chargers beat reporter for Sports Illustrated. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, Chargers beat reporter for the OC Register and LA Daily News. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? I got to ask you a question. Why are we still doing these podcasts in the middle of the summer when the Chargers are on vacation? The NFL's on vacation. Why can't I be on vacation as well? Because, Fernando, I got a little jealous seeing your IG, man. Like, you're like doing a slip and slide. I'm surprised you're even on the show right now because I feel like you broke your back. But I'm kind of mad you're sliding in the water. I'm not on vacation, but we're here talking Compas, reviewing Chargers minicamp. But overall, are you okay? You come to play, right,
bro? So yeah, I mean I do come to play, but I mean, I'm not going to lie. I did wake up this morning. I'm like, oh, I was like, what is going on? So I have some family members in town. My cousins, my dad's brother's son and his family, and they have two little kids, 6 years old and 4 years old. You know how that goes, Gilbert. I don't know if you know, but like they have a lot of energy. So my dad on Saturday was like, hey, we were eating dinner in Coronado, and he's like, hey, I want you to go to Sam's. And I'm like, why? He's like, go buy them a slip and slide. Like, I want them to have a lot of fun tomorrow because it was Father's Day. So I go and buy one, and like one was kind of cheap, and it was kind of like 10 feet or whatever, kind of boring. And I saw this one. It was a little bit more expensive, but I'm like 25 feet. Like, it looked like it was killer. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I buy that one, and we put soap in it. Like, just the water would have been boring, so I put a crap ton of soap in it, and we start slipping and sliding. And my cousin, their dad, he starts doing it. Dan and Dago gets in it, and he starts slipping and sliding too. He was throwing out a couple of words out there that I'm like, hey, I was like, and then he's like, I don't know how to be PG. And I start laughing. I'm like, dude, not PG, like take it down to a G. So he just starts laughing. But in one of those, he starts trying to get me to go. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. And he's like, come on, try it. So I try it, and I did fine. Like with the little inner tubes and stuff, it was fine. But then in one of those, he starts riling me up, and he's like, throw me like in WWE, like against the ropes, and then run behind me and go. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I do it. I run and I slip and I fall. I just like literally laid there for about a minute.
then my nephew and my niece like run up and they slide tackle me and they run into me, and like it was just a whole crapshoot, and it was a lot of fun. And that's why I put the caption: being 5 years old trying to be 5 years old again has consequences.
I find myself laughing a lot at your little slip up there, Fernando. Yeah, it was kind of fun. I'm like, are you trying to push your brother in and kind of make him be the one that fall, and then you were the one that fell? So I was like, oh, and that's what he gets for for being a
No. I was just trying to throw him like WWE style, like
okay.
so he got momentum and he could slide. Yeah, exactly. So
I felt kind of bad laughing about it. But I'm like, wait, you posted on Instagram,
Yeah.
so you encourage the laughing. So I
yeah. I'm like, hey, if anybody's having, I know it's Father's Day and everything, but if somebody's having a rough day, at least laugh at this. I mean, I like you can hear my dad, my sister laugh. My sister was taking the video. You could hear her laughing. You could hear my dad laughing. And one of those, my dad ends up running and he tries to do it without an inner tube. And he goes, gracias a Dios que ya no puedo tener hijos. And because he had gotten up and he's like, oh, I was like, yeah, without that inner tube, it hurt. Like it hurts men. That's designed to hurt men. And it even says on the box for ages 5 to 12. And here we all go, like trying it out and using it and putting soap in it so you slide even better. But the important part was my niece and my nephew had a lot of fun. And my nephew goes, oh my God, this is the funnest day of my life. And I was like, oh wow, like that really is what it matters. I mean, yeah, my back may hurt and all that, but and then I got to grilling. I grilled again, some tri-tip, some cowboy steaks, and picanha. So I got a little bit of everything, and it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Times like these, I get mad that you live so far away from me in San Diego. Imagine you're living like right next to me down the street. I bet your house. I'll be at your house every day. Using the side, eating your food, and probably being the freeloader. But it's okay. I'll go every once in a while. And for now, I think about it. You said you had soap on this little slip and slide thing, whatever it's called. Was it Fabuloso? The orange? I mean, the orange.
We didn't have any, so I had to use like dish soap or whatever because that's all we had. But you know what? That's probably what would make it go even faster. But it's funny. I had mentioned to my mom. I'm like, oh yeah, Gilbert's in town or whatever. She's like, he's in town. Invite him to come over. And I was like, no, I think he's going back home today. And then she's like, no, tell him to come over. And I'm like, oh, well, he's with somebody. Okay, she can come over too. And I just started laughing. And then I just, she's like, she might as well should meet you guys. And I just started laughing. And I'm like, but yeah, no, my mom's like, bring him over. We have plenty of food. And I just started laughing. And then I'm sure he'd enjoy the slip and slide.
No, I wish, but she has her dad herself, so it's Father's Day.
Exactly.
So we gotta get home.
What? I still got the slip and slide up because we're supposedly the kids want to do it again today when they get back from the zoo. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna go for round 2, but Gilbert, if you ever want to come down, it's gonna be here.
I don't know, after that painful thing you had or injury there. I don't know, man. That back problem you have, back is tricky, man. You could be out for a couple of weeks.
I know. No, you know what though? I'm a fighter. I'm gonna still be here. But you know what? Now let's talk a little bit about and you're talking about vacation and doing all this stuff. Number one, you were down here, so I think that's a good little mini vacation, but
too short.
But I mean, the reason why we're talking is because we're hard workers, Gilbert. We're like Charlie Sheen and show used to say, we're manly men. We're manly men, like in 2.5 Men. So wow. I gotta plug that one on there. So we're hardworking. There's no vacation for us, Gilbert. We're 24/7, 365.
Dude, all I hear in my head now is the ending to that little jingle, man.
Man.
I used to watch that show too.
I love that show.
But yeah, so we are working 365. Chargers mandatory minicamp. We were there, Fernando, both days, and yes, it kind of feels like I want a longer vacation, but we had to put in some work, so I needed one day to kind of unwind in San Diego. We'll get to that later, but I'll have my real vacation later this month. But we had to come back. To talk about minicamp. We want to give the listeners what they want, and they want to hear what happened in Chargers mandatory minicamp. And I guess we'll get into more detail, but just to kind of give you the quick summary, there wasn't a whole lot to kind of break down because
I hate that when people ask me, well, how did these guys look? Dude, I don't know. Like, if before with Anthony Lynn and even with Mike McCoy, if I couldn't see almost anything, imagine now when Staley, when they have no helmets on, they're not doing 11 on 11s, they're not doing any of this stuff. Like, This is like the dumbed down version of a dumbed down like practice in a sense. So I mean, I don't know what you got from it, but I
Yeah.
didn't get much.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of, I wrote it today. I'm going to plug my story. Go check it out, the Orange County Register, my Chargers analysis piece of what we learned and what we didn't. And I started thinking, like, we didn't learn a lot about competition, jobs, and roster spots and on the field and who's looking fantastic. But we did learn a lot about Coach Staley, Brandon Staley, and what he does philosophy-wise, what he cares about, how he's going to operate. So I kind of, wrote more about that, what we learned. But before I get into that, the good thing was that we were out there for about an hour. We got to watch a big chunk. There was just not a lot to see. So maybe that's why we got some access. But it was cool to be out there, interact with people we haven't seen in a while, especially after post-COVID. We're together. So that was pretty cool. And we'll get into the Drew Brees interview when we kind of get to that point. But in terms of what we learned, it's clear that this team already respects highly Brandon Staley and his coaching staff. And sometimes when it's a new coaching staff, first-time head coach, you kind of get the sense like, oh, this guy, over his head. He can't command the team, the locker room. This is not the case at all. It's like the complete opposite. Like this guy, like he belongs here. Like he was meant to be the leader of 53 people or 90 people right now. And it just, you ask anybody from Corey Linsley to Joey Bosa to Justin Herbert, how do they like the first mandatory minicamp with Brandon Staley and the coaching staff? And they all loved it. They're all excited. And the best part, they love that I wrote in my story, again, check it out, the Orange County Register. They love that he listens to the players. But Brandon Staley said before OTAs, how do you want me to conduct this offseason program? What do you don't like? Can we meet in the middle? Because I am a first-time head coach. I need to implement a new playbook. So what can we do in the middle? And what he came away was, let's not have a fast-paced 11-on-11. When it comes to team drills, no helmets, just kind of a walk-through kind of pace, learn the playbook, go that way slowly, run that way, but, not 100%. No tackling. There was nothing really crazy. So in terms of competition, it wasn't high level, but in terms of learning, maybe that slow pace was good and nobody, was putting themselves at risk in terms of health. So I think doing that, meeting in the middle of learning the playbook and staying healthy at the same time was my biggest takeaway. And I think people, in terms of Chargers players, they really love that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's what I feel like we learned more about. I feel like we learned more about Staley, about his coaching staff. Darius Swinton, special teams coach, he got a lot of work. I mean, I remember every OTA, every minicamp that we were there, they were putting in a lot of work on special teams, and not just on one field, on two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Ronaldo Hill, I think, is a guy that I feel like we're kind of taking. We're not us, but like I feel like a lot of people aren't really. Don't really know much about him. They think, oh, Brandon Staley's defense. Ronaldo Hill's going to have a huge part in this. Remember, Ronaldo Hill built that secondary down with not built, but he helped develop Justin Simmons with the Broncos. He helped, and Chris Harris told us that he is a smart guy. He's a former player. Actually, over the weekend, I was on Kirk Morrison's show with the over on ESPN LA. And he was telling me that he thinks Ronaldo Hill is very underrated when it comes to what's going to happen right now. He's like, everybody's looking at Brandon Staley, and he said, Brandon Staley, from what I've heard, is incredible. But don't sleep on Ronaldo Hill's what Kirk Morrison told me. Hopefully we'll have him on the show one day, but that's what he told me. He's like, Ronaldo played in the league. He understands how the secondary works, and now he's implementing that with his players, which is something that Chris Harris Jr. told us last week. Derwin James has said it. Other guys from the secondary, Nasir Adderley, they've all said it. And when you hear Ronaldo speak, I mean, you can tell he's a little bit nervous, like he's not used to really speaking in front of the camera and everything. But when you really dissect exactly what he's saying, he knows exactly where he wants to plug who, what everybody's strengths is, what their weaknesses are. So, and that's another takeaway that I have, Gilbert, about the strengths and weaknesses. What this offense and what this defense is going to do is going to work towards your strengths. And we've heard what Kenneth Murray said about the way they kind of played him last year, that he felt he played out of position. Drew Tranquil, he kind of, I don't know if he took a shot, but he said at one point, I was guarding Tyreek Hill. Like, he's like, I mean, yeah, I believe in my abilities, but hello. Like, so, I mean, there are some things there that you're kind of like, oh, okay. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. And then again, on the offensive side of the football, like I've been saying, and I've thought about it, they're going to take little concepts from each team, which they've said, but it's going to be like the San Francisco 49ers running game where they move pieces around. They have different running backs. Receivers are saying that they're going to play a lot more free, which is what they kind of want. What was interesting was Mike Williams is going to play that Michael Thomas role. Maybe that means he's going to get an increase of touches this year, which is it's a good thing. It's a good thing for him. So yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think that's what it's more about, Gilbert, this time, because this time last year, I mean, Anthony Lynn really went into a disadvantage into the offseason with a brand new quarterback in Tyrod Taylor, a rookie quarterback in Justin Herbert, and no offseason program. So, I mean, this year, at least they have this. Staley, like you said, molded it towards what the players wanted. And it seems like he's really implementing his offense. He felt confident. He's like, I'm confident going into the offseason that we've done really good work, and we're just going to continue to build on that in training camp.
Yeah, I think the biggest mystery is a Joe Lombardi offense with Justin Herbert. We're all curious to see how that's going to be, and like you mentioned, it could be the Shanahan San Francisco running kind of scheme, and then for Lombardi, he'll take care of what the Saints kind of passing there. But the one that's kind of like interesting to me is we know what to expect from Brandon Staley. We know it's going to be a complex scheme, different groupings, disguise it, just make it complicated as much as it can for the opposing quarterback. But at the same time, we're starting to realize that the defenders on the Chargers are thinking like, whoa, this is a lot. We did not do this much a year ago or 4 years ago with Gus Bradley, because Gus Bradley, you kind of know what you're getting. You have your assignment and do your assignment well. Here, you're going to have different roles. And Joey Bosa was saying like, I was gone for the offseason. So coming back now for mandatory minicamp, he was like, it's going to take me some time to adjust. And I love that honesty, because it is a very complex scheme, because we have seen it with Brandon Staley and we see it with Vic Fangio. It's kind of the same similar defensive style. So for Joey Bosa to be like, hey, this is a lot, but he's excited. He's like, okay, yeah, I have to drop back in coverage occasionally, but he's still going to be on the edge and do his thing right there. So he seems excited. I think he started his press conference saying, I'm just excited to be a Charger. I'm happy to be here. I like the coaching staff. I like the players. And I'm like, wow.
Did he just get drafted again? Or
I know,
what's
right?
going on?
It sounded like when you have your jersey, like I love being here. So maybe something new, refreshing. You feel that energy from the Chargers and the defenders. And Chris Harris Jr., who has been around Brandon Staley, and he knows the Vic Fangio defense and what Staley did when they were together in Denver in 2019. It's like, it's night and day. It's going to be a whole lot. You guys better be ready, because you're going to have different roles. I think you mentioned, Fernando, that these guys are not cornerback safeties. They're defensive backs, the defensive linemen, or you're the edge rusher. So you're going to do a whole lot of things. So I'm curious to see how he uses people. Like, I know what to expect in terms of, complex disguises, but who's going to do what and what role, and who's going to catch it and who's going to grasp it well. So I'm excited to see that. And then my other point, Fernando, hopefully I'm not stealing yours, was Justin Herbert, and there's so many expectations on his second year and what people are going to expect for him. People are saying MVP candidate. People are saying all types of things for year two, and it's a lot of pressure. And I feel like the coaching staff for the Chargers likes that. They feel like he can meet that expectations. And when I started asking some of the coaches, like they were saying, I think maybe Staley said it to you. He's like, yeah, I want to push him every day. I want to challenge him. Justin Herbert. I'm like, and I started thinking, how do you push a guy who has like a rocket arm, is smart, can read defenses, had a bunch of records a year ago as a rookie, did so many things well? How do you push a guy like that? And Brandon was like he was competitive, like, hey, I'm up for the challenge. I'm gonna challenge this guy every day and push him, because it's just year one. I don't care what he did a year ago. I'm gonna find new ways to get him better, because he has a lot to learn. And it's crazy to think that guy what he did a year ago has a lot to learn. So I want to see how Brandon Staley pushes Justin Herbert when the season rolls around, and how they kind of mesh Joe Lombardi, Brandon, and Justin. But you want to hear that from your coaching staff. You're not settling. You're going to push this guy to be great and get better, because the best quarterbacks in the NFL do it every year, every Sunday, every game.
Exactly. And I mean, that's the thing, is that I know we shouldn't be looking at and trying to compare, but like same thing happened with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, being a defensive-minded coach, would sit with Tom after every offseason, and they'd go through exactly every single game and see what he did well, what he didn't do well, and that's how he learned. Seems like Justin's kind of built from the same mold. We have to remember, yes, he had a great rookie season, but he did struggle. He struggled against Miami, he struggled against Buffalo, and he struggled against New England. Those are three teams that you're probably going to see for the next few years in the playoffs. So he is going to need to, I'm sure they've already been through all 3 of those games, and he really, I mean, he struggled against Carolina, but Carolina was a second start ever. So, I mean, I don't really see that as a game to really bring out there. But in those games he kind of struggled. So I do think that Brandon's probably already been through it with him. But I mean, independently, yes, like you said, the expectations are high. It's going to be interesting to see the way he kind of is he going to be able to do that. I mean, a lot of people, it's funny, every interview that we kind of do, I feel like we get asked the same stuff. How will Justin's 2021 performance exceed 2020? And I say, wait, hold on a second. Like, even if he had the same numbers that he did this year, maybe a couple more touchdowns, yards, and less, and like same number of interceptions, but with one more game, he should have a couple more touchdowns, whatever. I'm like, that's still a great season. Like, if he had that season almost over again next year, that would be still an incredible season. It'd probably be tops in the NFL. I mean, the only thing is that I could see, like I've told you before, I could see him throw for 51 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and throw for almost 5,000 yards. But I could also see him do the exact same numbers he did last year. It's going to be interesting to see the way this kind of goes. Gilbert, one thing that kind of worries me about fans and fans' expectations and all this stuff is I feel like they think, oh, Anthony Lynn's no longer here. That means we're not going to run the football. And I think that's furthest from the truth. I think there's still going to be a 51-49. I still think they're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to try and mix and match their guys. I think they're going to do a lot with it. And I feel like, is that kind of what the sense that you're getting? I mean, that's kind of what I feel like a lot of people think Justin's just going to go out there and sling it 50 times, which I don't think that's anywhere near what these Chargers coaches want.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster, because then you're becoming predictable. You know, you get blitz more. Yeah, the offensive line should be better. Maybe you have better pass protection. You want to throw the ball many times, but yeah, you know, people hate to hear, but you still got to establish a run. Maybe not make it maybe it's the other way around. It's like, you know, get the pass and then get the running game going. For many years, it's always been the run first and the pass. Who knows? But it's gonna be a good balance of how they're gonna do it. And then when you're having a great success like the 49ers do, Fernando, you keep saying it many times, like the way they run their rushing attack, you know, Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, Jake McKinnon, they have like 4 or 5 guys in the backfield, and they're all kind of, you know, plug and play and do well. So you have a running game doing that well. Why don't you keep feeding the rock to the running backs and make your life easier for a quarterback? So if they're being efficient, because a year ago, Fernando, they were not efficient at all. This is not a good running game. Austin Eckler was banged up. Justin Jackson. And I asked Austin Eckler, I'm like, how do you become efficient again? And he just said, yeah, offensive line is going to help, new coaching staff, new players, and just being healthy could really help along with. But you got to be efficient in the running game. So I think you're right. It should be a balanced attack, and maybe that's the way it should be. But it's going to be games where you got to sling it, and maybe, you know, they can't figure out Justin Herbert, and you're gonna throw the ball, you know, 50 times. But I think the best recipe is to be balanced. And for now, you bring another good point. In terms of the bad games that Justin Herbert had. Yeah, we see Herbert had a great year, but there were some really bad games. And I bet you a lot of teams are going to watch that film for 2021 and try to pick them apart or hurt them in that way. And the good thing about Herbert being with Brandon Staley, what the Miami Dolphins did to frustrate him was
zero coverage.
Yeah, and the disguises, and that's kind of been the thing. It's like, as a rookie quarterback, it's like, wait, I'm seeing something he kept guessing wrong. Like, I'm seeing something that I thought I was going to see, but out of nowhere it becomes something else. And that's what Brandon Staley does. So to see that every day in practice, Herbert said it himself, it doesn't get more complicated than that. So to learn from your mistakes in Miami, to learn from that blowout against New England, Dan and Dago loves when I bring up 45-0, to learn from the Buffalo Bills game and even Carolina. But that Miami game, that was where you really saw Herbert really struggle. Now to have Brandon Staley teach you some of these complex coverages to what to expect, like you mentioned, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady did for many years, that could really benefit them. So I think overall, this mini camp, just to learn and see what we saw, I think is a great start going into training camp July 27th.
Yeah, no, definitely. Before we turn the page real quick, I just wanted to bring up one fact. Did this strike you as odd too when Chris Harris Jr. said that him and Derwin are going to be positionless and they're going to be all over the field? Because I knew Derwin was going to do that. Mm-hmm. But when I heard Chris say that, I was like, wait, you too? Like, he's like, they're going to have to see where 25 and 33 are at all times. I was like, oh, wow. Does that mean that Chris is going to potentially also be all over the field? next season. And I kind of now that really intrigued me, Gilbert. I don't know about you.
No, but I wrote about that too. That stood out to me that Chris Harris Jr. said he's excited to see what his role is going to be exactly, but he knows it's going to be 3 different positions. I'm like, okay, he might be playing the slot, outside,
Corner
or
safety.
And then obviously Durbin would be kind of a pass rusher, safety, and corner. But maybe that's kind of the same thing for all the DBs. It's like because Nas Adderley is so athletic, he could probably play corner as well.
Congrats to you though for saying DB.
I'm gonna start saying it. I always do it for edge rusher.
Dude, I even write it like in my articles. I put DB and edge rusher just for Brandon because I mean I never know if Brandon's gonna read any of this stuff because I know he grew up kind of being a journalist or whatever. So I'm like I write edge rusher, I write defensive back, I do all that.
I do the edge rusher because that's kind of common now. Like, stop saying defensive end or pass rusher or outside linebacker. Edge rusher. Let's all agree. I like that one. The DB one, I got to see it first. Like, if Chris Harris is going to be playing a lot of safety, and so is Michael Davis and Asante Samuel, they're switching back and forth. If I see it, I'll go to DB. But for right now, I'm going to stick to corner and safety. If the Staley's hearing this, I got to see it on the field first. But I'll
be a teacher's pet then.
I need to see it first. But I am cool with the edge rusher thing. But if they're going to be mixing and matching a lot, my concern is like maybe it could be too complicated.
I think we're reading because I heard Nas also say he might drop back or drop down to corner.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, and I'm like trying to put this defense in my head and see the way it's gonna work, and it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, and then with the 2 high safety, Nas won't be just a free safety way out there in the middle of nowhere waiting for something to happen. He's gonna be in the middle of the action, and that could be new for him too. So all these DBs have different roles, and I'm just curious to see how he uses Asante Samuel Jr., who I haven't seen in the pros. So yeah, it's a lot of mystery still going into training camp, but you sense the excitement. You kind of have an idea of how the scheme is going to look like, and the same thing with the offense and then defense. But we really don't know until training camp comes around, or preseason at least, or even until week 1. It's going to be a big old mystery.
Well, I mean, you start off with a bang. You have Washington with Terry McLaurin. And I think Curtis Samuel's on that team now.
Yeah.
Then the week after that, you have Amari Cooper. You have all these
Cowboys. Yeah.
You have the Cowboys Chiefs receiving core. You have the Chiefs right after that. I mean, hey, you're hitting the ground running. But one guy that won't be hitting the ground running this year on the field will be in the booth though is Drew Brees. Gilbert. We had a special guest there last Wednesday, and you can thank your boy for hooking that little interview up. I mean, it's all good. I mean, that San Diego connection, I guess, kind of works a little bit. So I'm just throwing it out there. But Drew Brees was there as a part of the NBC coverage, which I'll get into in a second. I have questions about this. But Drew Brees was there, so was Al Michaels. Al Michaels, though, was not there when we were out there. I think he did that on purpose. I think it was by design. But Drew Brees he was talking to Lombardi, John Spanos, Dean Spanos, even played catch with Chase Daniel, who they kind of know each other. Shout out to Chase Daniel for retweeting my video, by the way. But yeah, no, it was interesting to see Drew Brees out there, especially with all the stuff he's been saying about Herbert. And then Herbert said he kind of wanted to use Drew as a mentor moving forward because of this offense. So Gilbert, what were your impressions about Drew being there?
Yeah, well, I guess credit to you, like you said, for requesting an interview with Drew Brees. He was hanging around, and it might as well bring him over. He's in the media now, so he's supposed to do interviews. Like, he knows how it works. So he probably heard like, oh, Fernando Ramirez from San Diego requested this. I know that guy. Let me come down and go chat. So yeah, first of all, it was cool. I didn't realize it until it was over, but that was our first in-person scrum. Like, we were all next to each other since the pandemic started. So it's been it feels like 2 years ago or since our last.
That one was mine. The Becky Lynch. That was the last scrum I was ever in.
When was that? Early 2020, 2019?
February 2020.
And I can't even remember mine, but it was just funny. It was funny. I felt like we went right back to 2 years ago, 2019, because usually you have the better videos. Usually you're right in front of the scrum. I kind of like, lollygag. I'm on the back, and I'm like trying to get the video on the side angle, and my video's all awkward. But yes, credit to you. And you were on top of it because Drew Brees kind of comes over. He's making small talk, but we all, I guess we forgot, but the rules when it comes to scrums and people that important. You start the questions right away because they don't have much time. And you enough with the chit chat. hey, Drew Brees, how do you feel about Justin Herbert? And what are your first impressions of him? And then boom, the press conference started. So I'm like, man, you did not miss a beat. You're like the perfect spot. My arm got a little tired trying to get over like 4 people. I was in the back and couldn't even get a question in, but got the video, put it on my YouTube, subscribe to my channel, Gilbert Monsanto. The video's on there. You don't need to see Fernando's video, which is high quality and good point of view. But it was nice to kind of do a in-person scrum. I forgot how it's annoying to be kind of, stuck together and trying to shout for a question. But it's funny, like when I see Drew Brees, I'm like, oh, he's here, because of Joe Lombardi and the Saints connection. And I'm like, wait, he also played for the Chargers. So there's a whole connection for Drew Brees. So he knew the Spanos family. For him, it probably felt like kind of cool to kind of have both worlds combined on the same field. And with Justin Herbert, I know Justin and Drew Brees kind of have the same QB coach for the offseason. So there's a whole connection there. And that was a great question, a great response you got, Fernando, from Drew Brees saying, and we all want to know how Justin Herbert is, and Drew Brees is one of the best of all time. And he just raved and bragged and was very impressed with Justin Herbert after a few encounters.
Yeah, no, and he said that they got into the film room and that there's where he really was impressed with the work that Justin had done. So that was pretty impressive. I mean, for Drew to get into the film room with them and they get to talk about it, that was really interesting. But yeah, I know you said Saints connection, Chargers connection, and new job with NBC. My question is, why was it him and Al Michaels? Why was it not Chris Collinsworth? So that's really my my question towards, is Drew Brees going to be in the box for NBC this year, and is Chris Collinsworth going to get moved? Because I think I heard that it was going to be Mike Tirico and Drew Brees for Notre Dame, for the Notre Dame games that NBC has. But now seeing this, could it be that it's going to be Al Michaels and Drew Brees this season? That'll be interesting. But I don't know your thoughts. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or?
No, I was wondering, like, where are they for NFL games? Where are they going to put them? Like in the studio for?
Yeah, that's what the original thought was. But to me, I think it's too good of an opportunity. And then you keep on hearing that Al Michaels is going to retire after this season.
Yeah,
why not have Drew Brees and him together one season and really try and boost those ratings up? And I mean, Tony Romo set the expectations so high that everybody thinks that Drew Brees is going to be exactly the same way. I think Drew Brees has different humor. I think Drew Brees is a different kind of dude. So I don't know I think Drew Brees is obviously a smart human being. I just don't know if it'll be able to translate to the booth. But hey, I'm all here for it. I really want to see Drew Brees in the booth with Al Michaels.
Yeah, no, I do too, and I think I keep seeing that Amazon Prime, which they're going to do their own Thursday night games, like are going after Al Michaels too. So it could be a big shakeup. So hey, I don't have a problem with Chris Collinsworth. I have the whole slide in. So if it's him for another year, that's cool. And maybe next year, like you mentioned, Al Michaels retired. It could be Drew Brees and somebody else. So we'll see. But but credit for you to kind of thinking ahead and
I mean, I'm just throwing it out.
That you are.
I'm just throwing it out there. But going back to Drew Brees being there, I mean, I was interested in what I think it was Matt Money Smith that asked him about Mike Williams and the Michael Thomas role. And I think that was something underrated that nobody really listened to. I feel like Drew knows Mike Williams' game, and he's like, there's a couple of receivers that are unguardable. He feels like Michael Thomas and Mike Williams are two of them, and he feels like he's going to really thrive in that role. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the same role that we kind of saw. I think it's the role that we saw Michael Thomas in his first 2 or 3 years in the league, where he's throwing downfield, doing all these passes. Because I remember I saw on Twitter a couple of times they would call him Slant Mike or whatever, because he was just run slants. But I don't think that's how they're going to use Mike Williams. I think they're going to use him in the different route running tree. They're going to use different routes from that. And I feel like Mike is really going to be able to excel in this offense. I feel like this offense is more designed for Mike. And obviously Keenan's going to have his touches regardless. But I think this offense is really going to help Mike. And that's kind of what Drew Brees is, for my opinion. That's what I heard from Drew Brees, is that he feels like he's going to do well in this role. He feels like Mike Williams will do well in this role as well.
I never got the insult for Michael Thomas to do many slant routes. Like, if it keeps working, you keep getting a first down, why keep doing it? Like, there's no problem with getting an easy, bucket, like an NBA layup. Like, you want to keep doing it. Like, why is that an issue? I don't get that. But Michael Thomas is a great receiver. And he kind of Michael Thomas, because of the targets and the high numbers he has, reminds me more of Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
But he is a big body receiver like Mike Williams, so it kind of makes sense that it could be the Mike Williams role, or for Michael Thomas role could be the Mike Williams role. But yeah, Mike, I'm sure Drew Brees remembers that game a year ago where he had that crazy, completion down the field to extend the game. I want to say that was the final drive, and they got it in position for a field goal from Michael Badgley, and he missed it. I forget.
Yeah, so Mike, the drive before that, had scored that 60-yard touchdown where he was wide open and scored. Then that next drive, he throws it up to Mike. Mike gets him in a position. Badgley misses, and then they go into overtime. And I think the Saints had scored a field goal. And then the Chargers start driving, and Justin on fourth down throws a slant to Mike, and Marshawn Lattimore is able to stop him half a centimeter before he gets to the first down mark.
That was in overtime, right? By then.
Yep.
But yeah, Mike Williams was a little over that game, and I'm sure Drew Brees remembers that. And maybe with this offense, maybe they're thinking, okay, Mike Williams has great plays in the fourth quarter. Why are we waiting until the fourth quarter? Like, keep feeding that guy first, second, third quarter. And yes, I know they have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and now Jared Cook, and obviously other receivers as well. So it's kind of hard to feed everybody, but maybe get that guy going and see how that works out. But yeah, I'm like, again, we're all curious to see how the system's going to look. But to have Drew Brees at training camp to kind of give us a little preview of what to expect, that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, no, and I mean, Drew really is a guy that you can really, if you pick his mind, he'll talk about anything. And like, he really did talk well, and he kind of gave us an insight. He said he's excited for what Justin's going to do in this offense. And so I'm really interested to see what Justin is going to do with this offense. I'm interested to see what all these guys are going to do. In this offense. But yeah, Mike is a guy that I really think could take off if they do this offense well and they take advantage of the mismatches, because there's a lot of cornerbacks that Mike is way bigger than, and he really could take advantage if he really if they put the ball in the right place.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me of my tweet. I asked Jared Cook, like, how good can this offense be? And he was honest. He said that there's a lot of talent with the Chargers. And I think the way I asked him was like, do you compare the Chargers, roster to the Saints, roster on offense? Because the Saints have always been one of the top offenses of the NFL the last couple of years, and he was there for the last 2 years. So he said it compares, but he took it a step further, and he said the Chargers probably got better talent than they did in New Orleans. And I put that on Twitter, and Saints Twitter, caught wind of it, and they were not happy with Jared Cook. And I got a bunch of comments, I got a bunch of quote tweets, and they let Jared Cook have it. So they weren't happy with the little diss there. And it kind of mainly stems from the fumble he had against the Buccaneers in the playoffs. And so the Saints fans are still kind of mad about that. But I thought it was kind of a bold comparison, but not crazy. The Chargers have a lot of talent. They just can't put it together like the Saints do. So I don't think the quote was crazy. Yeah, stay healthy. But I think it was more the saltiness from the playoff fumble that they were kind of, PO'd. But it was just funny to see that tweet kind of blow up.
You mentioned that, and somebody said, did Drew Brees go there to kick Jared Cook's ass? I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, that's
funny.
Yeah, somebody put that underneath or under my video, and I just started dying. I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. But definitely, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, now, and Justin even said that he's going to reach out to Drew if he has any more questions and he feels comfortable doing it. So that's going to be really interesting. Another thing I'm interested to see is obviously when Phillip Rivers is gonna, they just announced that Eli Manning's gonna get his jersey retired this year with the Chargers, that he's gonna get it retired. Now I'm interested to see if Phillip Rivers is gonna get his retired this year, all that, because he's a head coach now in high school, so that's gonna be really interesting. But now let's transition, Gilbert, to WWE's Hell in a Cell. It was this weekend. Now, before I get to that, Gilbert, though, the wheels are starting to churn and they're starting to get in motion for something I've been talking about for the last few weeks. Or I said it last week on Compas. And what is that, Gilbert?
Bobby Lashley?
No, your tribal chief. You have to acknowledge him, Gilbert. Acknowledge him.
I do every time we talk.
There you go. You acknowledge
more.
You have to. If not, he might come after you at SummerSlam. You acknowledge your tribal chief. That was smart. So last week, John Cena was on the was on the Chris Van Vliet, I think that's how you say his name, Vliet, on his show promoting Fast Five and everything, and he asked him about Roman Reigns' character. John Cena says, well, yeah, when you're not in a stadium full of crowd, anybody can have a character come out and everybody thinks it looks badass.
Wow.
He's like, maybe if he gets in front of a crowd, people won't care and they'll boo him and they won't, or he's like, maybe they'll have no reaction and nobody's going to really care about it. And I'm like, okay, like we're starting to get the snowball starting to roll.
There's a feud already.
Exactly. So then Roman Reigns jumps on Sports Nation and they asked him about The Rock's potential return, maybe John Cena returning. And this is a quote from him. That's a dream for a lot of our fans. It ain't a dream for The Rock's fans. I get this a lot with Dwayne, and he's called them Dwayne. He did not say The Rock. He said Dwayne and John Cena as well. These guys are doing well for themselves. There's no question about it. I don't know. If I were these guys, I don't know if I would want to come back and deal with me. I'm a problem right now for everybody. So if I were them, I would stay on set. I'd keep pumping out those streaming service movies. Don't come to my ring. Gilbert, it's been in motion. We got robbed. You got robbed. I got robbed. The fans got robbed. This last year in LA was supposed to be Roman Reigns against The Rock at WrestleMania inside SoFi Stadium. Or was it last year? No, yeah, it was. Oh, no. It was supposed to be this year. Yeah. We got robbed and we didn't get that match at SoFi Stadium. We were going to be there, Gilbert. I know it. I'm
for sure. No, it's
we were going to be there. But man, this is getting excited. So I think we're going to need to go to Dallas a year from now, or a year from a couple of months. And because I think it's going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania next year. But
I'm there.
This SummerSlam, Gilbert, it sounded like it is. The wheels are turning for John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Man, is that exciting, because we haven't seen Cena. By the way, I already got my tickets this Friday. I'm going to go watch John Cena be a heel on Fast and Furious 9. I'm excited. Very excited.
Yeah.
I was
waiting for the first mention that it comes out this Friday. I've been waiting for that.
I'm hyped.
There you go.
I'm hyped. And I told everybody to, I told my brother, my sister, well, not my sister because she's fine. But I told my little cousin and my brother, they need to shut up. When the movie's there, I'm gonna be watching the whole time.
Well, yeah, the movie started. Who's gonna talk?
But they like to talk. I don't like talking during movies.
Whisper.
I don't go with my dad to the movies. My dad's phone flashes. I don't like that. I don't like my screen flashing. I don't like people talking. And then my dad's kind of deaf, and he goes, "¿Qué dijo?" I'm like, no talkie, no. Just watch the movie. That's why I don't go with certain people to the movies. But whatever. I digress. This is exciting, Gilbert. And I know The Rock wrestled a long time ago. He came back. He fought John Cena, CM Punk a couple of times, and he looked kind of gassed. Yeah, but John Cena is definitely coming back. So let me give you a little layout of what happened this last weekend, Gilbert, real quick.
Yeah.
So Roman Reigns had beaten the crap out of Dominic Mysterio. So Ray challenged him at Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. Ray said, I'm not going to wait till Sunday. I want you right now. On SmackDown, he told him he wanted him right there. He's like, why do you want this beating? And so Ray put up a fight, but your tribal chief just knocked him completely out. He beat him down, and Roman got the day off. He didn't have to do anything on Sunday. So your tribal chief got the day off. He didn't need to fight. It was the first SmackDown Hell in a Cell, I think, in years. I can't remember how many, maybe the first time ever. So now let's go. So your tribal chief beat Rey Mysterio down. Now Money in the Bank is coming up. I know. It was a terrible weekend, but for him. But now Roman Reigns, who's next? We don't know. Maybe he'll continue this to the next pay-per-view with Rey Mysterio. Maybe go at it one more time. Maybe a 2-on-1 with Rey and Dominic against him. Who knows? But it's starting to set up for that SummerSlam match. So John Cena is going to appear pretty soon. I know it. I know Cena. I think he's advertised. I think he's advertised for the first show, the first SmackDown show, and I think it's in Houston, Texans. Man, don't make me spend that money, because I'll go out there to see that. But whatever, I'm not going to do it. But your girl Bianca Belair fought Bayley in the Hell in a Cell. Man, yeah, I know, incredible. Gilbert, she was using her hair for everything. Like, Bayley grabbed your hair, put it, like, tied it to the chair, and threw her on the ground and started just whacking on her. And then Bianca then grabs her hair, wraps it on Bayley's arm, and then starts using it to beat her up. So there was a lot of hair stuff happening in this match, Gilbert. But man, Bianca had welts on the back of her, on her back.
Oh.
So did Bayley. So Bianca ended up winning. She retained inside the Hell in the Cell. Now my question is, who's next for Bianca Belair? I mean, Bianca's a newcomer. She just beat Sasha. She just beat Bayley, two of the top women in the WWE on SmackDown. But now what happens? The WWE's been releasing a lot of superstars lately, and they've released a lot of women superstars. And now you're kind of looking around. You're like, man, SmackDown doesn't really have a lot of competitors. Now, one of my favorite wrestlers right now that I feel like she can get a push, and she needs a push, is Liv Morgan. You may not know her. Liv Morgan was a part of the Riots. Okay, she was a part of the Riot Squad. She kind of looks like Harley Quinn a little bit. So both of the Riot Squad members are gone. Now it's her. I think WWE needs to start giving her a push and let her go up against Bianca Belair. She's very talented. She has a lot of game, a lot of potential. So that's where I think they should start heading to next, especially with Money in the Bank coming up soon. I know you like Money in the Bank, Gilbert. I know you like that. I know you want a real life Money in the Bank. You want to make money. You want to put it in your bank.
All about the money, man. So this
exactly.
If I go fight for Money in the Bank, I will do it. Like,
exactly.
Money, bring me
exactly.
on.
So the next, so that was one of the matches. The one that really surprised me was Charlotte against God, what's her name? Charlotte against Rhea Ripley. They didn't fight in Hell in the Cell. It ended on a disqualification. She grabbed the you know where the announcer's table is, that little thing that covers it where it says Hell. She just grabbed that and hit Charlotte, and they disqualified her. And I'm like, dude, we've seen people use that for years, and that's never been a disqualification. So the wrestling was good. It was just that kind of stuff I didn't like. So I was kind of like, okay. And then the next, and so like obviously Charlotte won, but Rhea Ripley retained. So that means that they're going to fight again at Money in the Bank, I'm sure. So that kind of, I'm like, okay, that's a cheap way to end it. Here's a cheap way to do it. So the last match that I'm going to tell you about, because I could get into all of these, and I don't want to bore you.
Better be the Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre.
Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre.
Okay,
it was
fast. You're getting me excited for the SummerSlam Bobby Lashley matchup.
It was fast. It was aggressive. It was everything you needed. Drew McIntyre needed to win this match. If not, he was never going to get a championship match as long as the almighty Bobby Lashley was champion. So let me fast forward real quick towards the end if anybody didn't see it, but Drew McIntyre knocks out the official on accident, and then another official tries to get into the ring. Well, MVP gets into the ring, and he costs Drew McIntyre the match. Bobby Lashley pins him and wins them. He spears, or no, he hit him with I can't remember what finishing move he hit him with, but he ends up pinning Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre, oh no, he rolled him up because he was distracted by MVP. He rolls him up, and he ends up beating him, and everybody's like, dude, and Drew McIntyre just sat there like a man defeated. Bobby Lashley was excited because he's like, dude, you're in my rearview mirror. You're done. Go fight for the United States Championship. Now Bobby's on to bigger and better things. Like I said, Money in the Bank is next month. I don't like that WWE tries to force at least one pay-per-view every month, because there should be a little bit of a break. They're not going to do it, because I think there should be a break between SummerSlam and Hell in the Cell, just to start telling stories, doing a great job moving forward into this. They don't do it. They need to squeeze in another pay-per-view. So Money in the Bank is next month. I think Bobby Lashley's probably going to have a squash match. I really think it's going to be somebody that you're like, Now, here's I'm just predicting. I'm going to look into my crystal ball. I see Brock Lesnar winning the Money in the Bank winning the Money in the Bank. They need Brock Lesnar. So there was no Roman Reigns like that last night. It was kind of a boring pay-per-view. I found myself at times kind of like, okay, yeah, some good action, very good action, but at times I did find myself a little bored. So I think Brock Lesnar wins the Money in the Bank, and he's not one of those guys that'll do it just to take advantage and he'll cash it in when you're hurt. Brock Lesnar's going to cash it in at SummerSlam, and we're going to get Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. We're going to get John Cena versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And here's the trifecta. We're going to get Edge against Seth Rollins. That's my prediction for the top 3 headlining matches of SummerSlam. I think that's going to be the 3. And I wouldn't be surprised if a former WWE diva, a superstar, came back and fought one of these two, either Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley. I think more Bianca Belair just to make it a big match, but I think somebody might come back and they're gonna try. I've seen it everywhere. Vince McMahon wants to make SummerSlam huge.
Are you gonna name names or what?
No, I don't know who it's gonna be. I saw the word. I saw the name Trish Stratus being thrown out there. And whoa! Trish is only like 42, 43. She can still. She wrestled a couple of years ago, and she went toe to toe with, I think, Sasha Banks, and it was actually a really good match. She can still move. So hey, don't discount Stratisfaction. But yeah, that's your WWE Hell in a Cell review. I know it was a lot, Gilbert. I apologize, but I'm just getting hyped. 5-9 or Fast and Furious 9 is in my future. I can see it closely. I'm excited. I'm hyped. SummerSlam is coming up. I'm hyped. Dan and Dago is coming up. I'm hyped.
Oh God, you know what? Yes, these WWE reviews are kind of long for now. I'm kind of a little left out because I didn't watch Hell in a Cell. But I keep saying you have me sold on the SummerSlam lineup, the potential lineup, because I think it's going to be big because it's at a stadium. It's where the Raiders play in Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. So they better go big. They're trying to do a stadium pay-per-view that it's not WrestleMania. So I am excited. So you telling me these storylines, I'm kind of eager now to, now that we're kind of maybe approaching a month away, I'll get really into it. And I like Money in the Bank. So you got me ready. With his reviews, and you're telling me about the future, and now I'm going to see if you're right, man. So I appreciate you kind of giving me the rundown and looking ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, real quick before we go to Dan and Dago, what the hell happened with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.? How the hell did he lose to Anderson Silva?
I did not watch, but seeing some of the what I guess the clips on social media and kind of seeing some tweets, I am not surprised. And okay, I'm glad you kind of gave me the floor for this, Fernando, because I want to say
I didn't want to take it by myself. So
okay, I want to say Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the son of El Gran Campeón, does not represent boxing. That is not an L for boxing against MMA community. That does not count because Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is not anywhere near one of the best boxers. He has shown time and time again that he likes to, I hate to say quit, but he doesn't have his heart into it. He usually doesn't fight well. The last time he really fought well was years ago when he beat Sergio Martinez, and he was on the rise. Okay, finally, the son of the El Gran Campeón is living up to the potential. And I feel for the guy. It's a lot of pressure because, Julio Chavez Sr. is a legend in Mexico. So he went through a lot, and that could be hard mentally. But after that win, which was in 2012, I remember, I'm kind of going way back. Canelo Alvarez fought on the same day as Chavez Jr. in Las Vegas, miles apart. I think Canelo was at the MGM, Chavez Jr. at the Thomas and Mack Center. And the bigger fight was Chavez Jr. because he has a name next to him. And Canelo was kind of just starting, but those careers went different paths. And Chavez Jr., yes, Anderson Silva was a great, professional fighter, but he's way past his prime. Junior's been a little more active, and it's boxing. This is your element, and to kind of throw these lazy combinations and to have a 45-year-old Silva taunt you, it was just a bad look for Chavez Jr. And I feel bad for his dad. And dude, find something new. Enjoy your life, but it's not boxing. And I just wanted to say, he does not represent boxing, and I'm done with that. But
did he retire?
Junior?
Yeah.
I don't know, but he always comes back, and he likes the spotlight. But it's just weird to me that when he comes back and he finally gets the opportunities, he's out of shape. He doesn't come through, and I'm like, how many chances you got? A chance after you got, pretty much pummeled by Canelo. You got a chance. He didn't deserve that chance to begin with.
Yeah, no.
He got a chance against Daniel Jacobs. He quit in his corner, and his dad was like all embarrassed. And then I got this kind of weird opportunity, but still,
that was the one in Arizona, right?
I forget, but that's the one where his dad went viral and he's shaking his head. He had the little bandana, the red bandana.
Yeah.
But then you get another awkward opportunity. People watch because it's Chavez, the name, and then Anderson Silva, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, and you blew that one. So I am just tired of seeing this guy, and he missed weight, by the way. He missed weight. I'm just tired of seeing this guy get chances and us kind of paying attention just because he has the name Chavez next to him.
I agree, Gilbert. I mean, it's just, and the thing is that now this Logan Paul, I sent you the clip over the weekend. Oscar de la Hoya says, "Hey, I want to go another round with or another fight with Floyd Mayweather. Like, bro, all this stuff, like, stop doing all this stuff. Like, this is clown crap. Like, nobody's gonna watch that. I mean, people probably will watch it, but it's embarrassing at this point. I'm just over it. But my uncle, my cousin who's here, his dad saw Canelo at a golf course in Guadalajara, and him and his grandson took a picture with Canelo. And I told my cousin, hey, tell your dad to plug Compas. We want to get him on. Tell him, hey, my nephew has a podcast there in San Diego. He'd love to have you on so we could because we'd love to have the ultimate compa on with Canelo, wouldn't we, Gilbert?
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. Make it happen, Fernando.
Exactly. I'm going to tell my uncle, but now let's go to Gilbert's best friend. His number, like, this guy just represents, Gilbert and him have a bromance that can never be cracked.
No. Don't even describe this guy. Can we just, how about we skip over him and just introduce Chris Rumph II, because this Chargers legend was great, and I'm gonna make it my effort to skip over Dan and Diego and just get to the interview, because Chris Rumph II was so fantastic that we should just get to the point. Get the Chris Rumph II, rookie for the Chargers. Here's the interview.
Now joining us is the most energetic Chargers rookie on and off the field. Rashawn Slater, Asante Samuel both called him the funniest rookie on the team. That is, of course, Chargers edge rusher Chris Rumph. Chris, I need somebody in here that's going to have energy, because Gilbert sometimes he doesn't have it. So I hope you're ready for that.
Yeah, I can tell, Gilbert, man. It looks like you didn't take your nap, man. It's only 2:00, man. You're supposed to have energy, man. Come on.
What is going on? I'm getting attacked. We just started. How about a hi and a hello first, man?
Hey, Fernando started. It wasn't me.
Yeah, that is true. But Chris, obviously, how are you? And are the rumors true? Do you feel like you are the funniest Chargers rookie?
Yeah, I'm not, you don't, LeBron James not going to call him. Actually, no, he did call himself the best. So I will say I am the funniest. I will say that. But, I'm a humble guy. So I let my funniness do the talking for me.
Chris, it's pretty obvious you're very outgoing, but what do you think you got that kind of outgoing personality from? And also, like, what are you doing to make these, fellow rookies, Rashawn Slater and Asante Samuel Jr., say that you are the funniest? Are you cracking jokes, stand-up comedy? What's going on? Kind of tell us a little bit about your personality also.
Yeah, my personality, I definitely get a little bit from my father. He acts the same way. So my mother lets me know that all the time. You're the same as your father. So that can be good and bad at the same time. But when they called me the funniest guy, I'm just being myself. I'm blessed, to be able to call myself a professional football player. To have this as my job. And, the least I can do is be 100% me all the time. Give back with my energy, love, and spread that. Because that stuff is contagious. So once it gets to the locker room, everybody's like that. There's no telling. We kind of know where we're going to go at the end of the season, but it'll make it a lot easier at the same time.
Yeah, no, and Chris, I'm assuming you were like this at Duke, where you were putting up big numbers. How did you enjoy your time at Duke, and a place commonly known for basketball, basically?
Yeah, so obviously, it's known for basketball. Coach K has a historic record. But, with our class, our 2017 class, we really tried, to change the stigma, not only on campus, but, around the world. We kind of fell short last year, going 2-9, but my overall experience at Duke was, incredible. I wouldn't trade that place for anything else. If I go back in time, have all the offers in the world, I'll still go back to Duke because the people I met there, the brothers I made, the lifetime connections I'm going to have, that stuff is priceless. And we still talk to this day, making sure everybody's good that, that's on the team right now. So we talk back and forth, how their minicamp and OTAs went, comparing, obviously there's a little bit of competitiveness. So we're trying to figure out who's going to have the best record at the end of the season. So overall, it was a great place. I made a lot of friends and brothers for life.
Chris, is a little bit disappointing that after such a big run, Coach K is finally deciding to call it quits after this season as a fellow Blue Devil?
Yeah, you hate to see everything good in, but his record speaks for himself. He could have done a better job. I'm pretty sure he's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. So he's had a wonderful career. He's changed a lot of people's lives just by being the talented coach that he is. So he's going out there. Hopefully, they'll be able to put him out the right way.
Yeah, Chris, a great career. And like you mentioned, things got to come to an end eventually, but there's always a fresh start. So let's go to the Chargers for you. You got a fresh start in Los Angeles. You're telling that you finally put on a helmet for the first time since December. I'm guessing, during your Duke days. But now, as an NFL player, how was the first day of minicamp for you? And I remember when we spoke during when you got drafted that you wanted to pick Joey Bosa's brain. I'm guessing today was the first day you got to see Joey Bosa. So how was the whole experience on day one?
Yeah, the whole experience was great. My hammer was a little tight, so I had to get used to that being new. But yeah, it was great being able to have all the vets there. Everybody, doing the same drills, talking to one another. Hey man, let's do this. You gotta do it. Just everybody's correct. We're all professionals. And I think that's the difference between college and the NFL is like it doesn't matter who you go to. Somebody's going to have something that works for them, and you pick their brain, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, oh well. If it does, even better. So it's fun being able to be around a lot of like-minded people who at the end of the day want to be the best.
And did you get a chance to kind of talk to Joey Bosa, or was that kind of too fast-paced and you guys were split apart too much?
Oh yeah, we didn't get to talk. During practice, obviously we're both going through our plays and everything. But, I talked to him in the locker room. He came up to me. He's real good. You expect, big time guys like Joey, to, kind of be stuck up. That's not him at all. So anytime I see that on the internet, about Joey, man, he's a great person. He's a great leader. He's obviously been producing on the field. So I'm excited, to be able to play alongside him and at the end of the day, go towards the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Sorry.
My bad. My bad. I just wanted to say real quick, Chris, he's also a very funny guy.
Yeah,
so we want to give you a little bit of an insight. He's actually a sneaky funny guy. You just think he's all serious and stuff. No, he's sneaky funny.
Yeah, that was one thing I know. I was like, this guy is like he's sneaky funny. That's the perfect word because he's so like nonchalant with his jokes. I'm like, bro, it's so weird, but he's a fun guy. I know we're gonna have fun in that room.
Yeah, Chris, me and Fernando were thinking the same because you brought up Joey Bosa and kind of being serious. Like, I was going to tell you, that is not true at all. We talked to him last year. He was so funny. He was talking about anime and anything that.
Yes, he watches anime. I love that because him and I think E were talking about some anime shows that I might get in later on. So I'm a big anime fan myself. So that look, shoot. So we got a lot of good conversations in the future.
Oh, you're gonna fit in perfectly with the defensive end, or I guess edge rushers. Brandon Staley prefers edge, so I'm gonna get that right, edge. But Chris, I was gonna say, how do you kind of stand out as a rookie? But obviously, you're very outgoing, so that might not be an issue for you. But with a new coach and how about on the field? How do you stand out, and how do you kind of show coaches you're meant to get some snaps on the field?
Yeah, just being detailed with everything. I think that's like I said earlier, the biggest difference between college and the NFL is everything has to be so detailed because that one little detail, you being off maybe an inch could be the difference between a touchdown or a TFL. So for me, as a rookie, just being on top of my stuff, knowing everything I'm supposed to know and doing everything precisely. I think that will be able to, and the coaches will see that, and especially as a rookie coming in detailed like a vet, and acting like one already will kind of prop eyes and hopefully put me on the field early.
Chris, what was it like learning from your father? Your father obviously is a defensive line coach from the Chicago Bears. You're a defensive lineman, an edge rusher. How was it learning from him growing up?
Yeah, it was great learning from him. Not only learning from him, but just being around the sport because, he's coached a lot of great players. So being able to go around them, absorb their energy and how they think and act on and off the field. It's put me miles ahead of a lot of people just because I know how everything's supposed to be run. I know how, things are supposed to be done. And also, with football, he's taught me, pass rush techniques, a toolbox, unique to me. And just understanding, pass rush angles or everything, et cetera, those kind of stuff to, help you get the edge in a game. So that's been very helpful, throughout my life and my career.
Well, Chris, right now we're going to hit you with that fire with some quick questions about. You mentioned you like anime. What are some? I kind of feel like you play video games also. Are you a huge what's your game? What's your
video game? I love video games. That's my hobby outside of football.
And what's your go-to game?
Right now my go-to game is FIFA. I've been whipping some butt on FIFA lately.
Man, I'm gonna need to play Chris one day. I that's my game. Could you challenge Ocho Cinco?
Better let him know. Hey, I don't think you want that.
What's your team?
Bayern. Listen, I've been playing with Bayern for like half a decade now. So
yeah, because they've been stacked for half a decade.
They have not been stacked. They just got Sane and Douglas and Costa. So like, it's not my fault that
they've had Lewandowski for years.
Every team has that one dude. Messi, Ronaldo, Werner. I mean, come on, every team has that one guy. So
no, Lewandowski's fire. That dude is awesome. So like, you think you could compete against Chad Johnson? Chad Johnson supposedly is the king of FIFA.
Listen. So that's coming soon. I gotta get my feet settled. I gotta make some plays before Chad Johnson. Look, you put this on Twitter. He's getting that invite real soon.
I like that
with Napoli. So we'll see.
Chris, are you gonna post it on Twitch? Is it gonna go live stream? Can we watch this if it ever happens, or what's going on?
Look. When this happens, first of all, him. He's a really extra guy, so he's going to be want to put on for a crowd. That's perfectly fine with me. I love playing in front of crowds. I play better that way. So
Gilbert, please, Gilbert, we should be the commentators. That's I want to be there in person.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, it seems like you and Fernando are hitting it off with the soccer because Fernando loves soccer. So I'm gonna ask you another question to see if you and Fernando are maybe soulmates. I don't know, like best friends because he loves soccer. How about wrestling, WWE? Because he is a big fan. Is that your thing?
Oh, listen, you got to go to Chris Rumph II for wrestling. That's not me. I used to be a big wrestling fan. And then I got away from he won the WrestleMania not too long ago. So yeah,
really
big fan. Yeah. So they still, I'm pretty sure him and my little brother still watch it to this day.
That is totally awesome, Chris. Now that you're in LA, is there anything anything new you want to try? Mexican food? Anything new that you kind of want to get? Want to do any dishes or anything like that?
See, the thing about me, I've moved all over the country in the South, so I've kind of got a taste of everything. I think the furthest I lived was Texas, and they kind of got a California splash in there.
Tex-Mex.
So I've had Tex, I've had that. But the main thing I want to do is go surfing. I might try to go surfing.
Well, I just want to recommend something. I want to recommend something. A California burrito. Have you heard what that is?
No, what's that?
I got you. French fries, carne asada, cheese, guacamole, and a little bit of sour cream. Fire.
Just make sure our team nutritionist doesn't see this.
Trying to get him in trouble, Fernando. Like Chris, Fernando said the same thing to Justin Herbert last year as a rookie. He's trying to fit in, make the team and be the star quarterback, and he's trying to, kill them with the calories. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Fernando. I'm not gonna eat that.
Yeah, no, but it's
that sounds delicious. I'm not gonna lie.
Man, I try and help people. I'm like, hey, if you need food, just let me know and I got you. Whatever you're craving, I know a place. Regardless. I know a place.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you said California burrito.
California burrito. I could hook you up with a couple of taco shops that I know, but yeah, I know some around the area, Orange County and all that. There's some good ones. Cali Tacos in Orange County.
Cali Tacos. Okay,
it is fire.
Try that. I'm gonna try that.
It is definitely fire.
On DoorDash too, so
yeah. And I'm gonna get the nutritionist hitting me up on email. Hey, what are you trying to do to my players?
Hey, it's not for me. It's for a friend.
Exactly. So I mean, I got one final one for you, Chris. Game day. You seem like you get. I feel like you switch gears when it's game day. What is that? The music? Does the music kind of get you hyped? What are you listening to that kind of maybe switches that mode into game mode?
Oh yeah, anytime on game day, from the moment I wake up, I got the music going. I'm locking in from that moment. I'm serious. I tell everybody, don't text me, don't look at me. Like I'm in the zone. Like I'm getting my mind ready. So what I like to listen to, I listen to John by Lil Wayne before I go out. I've been doing that since high school. That's my go-to song. That gives me like, ooh, you finna get these heads. Yeah. And then I just got a playlist of a whole bunch of rap. I got some rock in there too. So that's kind of my little routine. I get my beats on, my AirPods or whatever, put them on, I'm locked in.
You know what, Chris? Since we're gonna have one more question for you, final thing, and I just thought about it. It's Father's Day this Sunday.
Yeah.
So, any special moment or anything you want to shout out to give your dad? You mentioned him with the wrestling. You mentioned how big he was for you. But
Yeah,
on Sunday, you got something special?
yeah, you're not gonna get me to go soft, but yeah, he's been a big part of my journey to this point right now. So I gotta give him everything. I mean, he from the moment I was born, being a father and just a leader and showing me, following. All I have to do is follow in his footsteps. He's made it easy for me. Thank you. Happy Father's Day. We still going to have a better record than the Chicago Bears, though. Yeah, that's a big thing.
I love the trash talk. Chris, thank you so much for joining Compas on the Beat. It was so much fun having you.
No doubt. Hey, I have a lot of fun. I'm going to try that California burrito. I'll let you know how it is.
I can't wait.
To do it on the DL, though. It's going to have to be on my cheat day.
Hey, I love it. Can't wait for you to give me your review.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Appreciate it.
Gilberto, I don't like what you're doing trying to silence me over here. What's all this? Let's skip over him. What is that? I will not be stopped or silenced. You keep it up, and I'm going to tell you something. Hell in the Cell just passed, and I'm getting amped up. That Garrison brother might start hitting me. Who knows? We might have to get in a ring and try and figure this out, this little problem. And let me tell you something, Jack. Cowboy hat wearing, sunglass wearing, country music listening, truck driving, handsome son of a gun. Woo! You don't know who you're messing with. What are you doing, Gilberto? You don't even like avocado. You think you can go with the heavyweight champ? What are you doing? I ain't going nowhere. I'll tell you that right now. Nowhere. I'm going to be here the whole time, Gilberto. I've seen Nacho. Oh, you just get me wound up. I've seen Nacho Libre so many times. It won't be hard enough for me to just channel my eagle powers and drop a massive elbow from the top rope, boy. You better quit playing with me. Frown wasn't lying. That was a great interview with Chris Rumph II. Dan and Dago cannot wait to see him play on Sundays. He'll bring the heat just like the Compas and just like Garrison Brothers Bourbon. Now it's time for everybody's segment for Una Más, presented by Garrison Brothers Bourbon. Well, Gilberto will tell us about his trip to San Diego, how he didn't visit Fernando in his hometown. What kind of compa is that? Is he so scared of Dan and Dago? Is he intimidated? Get some more testosterone, Gilberto. But luckily, I have the sweet taste of Garrison Brothers Bourbon to calm me down because that Gilberto really just grinds my gears. Anyway, do yourself a favor and visit GarrisonBros.com and order the best bourbon in all of Texas because that's the bottom line because Dan and Dago said so. Now let's get to Una Más.
For Una Más. Gilbert, before we get to what we have to say, I don't think I can do this podcast anymore with you. I was betrayed this weekend, and it's always your own that betrays you. This weekend, a compa was down here in San Diego. He didn't hit the other compa up to tell him, hey, dude, I'm down here. What's up? We should hang out. Now, I don't know if it's because of something that I've done. All I've done has been a good compa. I don't know if it's because of I'm related to Dan and Dago, and that's kind of the reason why. I don't know what it is, but this is the last episode of Compas on the Beat. I mean, I don't know how I could live with I could live with myself if I continued when somebody just stabs you in the back and is in your own city and doesn't let you know. Gilbert, what's your defense?
Well, first of all, you're right. It has something to do with Dan and Dago. I don't like him, so if I go to your house, that means I have to see him. They have to talk about Tim Tebow, and first of all, I didn't really hear much about Tim Tebow during mandatory minicamp, but whatever. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into the whole Chargers talk. But when your brother becomes Daniel, we get along. But when it's Dan and Diego, we can't. But yes, I was in your hometown, San Diego. First of all, San Diego and Chula Vista are kind of ways away, so I had to go a little further down. You're by the border, so another excuse for me not to.
Everybody makes it seem like I live right next to the border, and I just jump over into TJ.
Well, you're always a TJ, so I'm assuming you're next to the door. But yes, you.
And by the way, I'm just kidding. Compas on the Beat will continue. It's just a joke. Just kind of a little bit of tease. You can't be literal. You have to be literal with people sometimes, Gilbert.
Yeah. Don't be scared. We don't hate each other. But yes, I felt a little wrong being in San Diego.
No, it's all good.
At a Padres game and you weren't around. But my partner and I, we wanted to have a good little getaway for one day, and she said she likes going to baseball games. And
did you have fun?
Yeah, it was great. We've done like a whole baseball tour, kind of this offseason, NFL offseason. Whenever we have some breaks between Charger stuff, and she has break for work, we kind of like to go to a baseball stadium. The next one in line was the Padres, and San Diego's not that far, like 2 hours, and it was at full capacity. So I kind of forgot that. When I went to the Canelo final, like I forget it's full capacity. So yes, it was cool to go to the Padres game. It was on Saturday. They won. That's when they had I'm forgetting the guy's name, the Korean.
Ah-Sung Kim.
There you go. You got it. And he got the little chain. I like the little. Everybody had the chain on, the San Diego chain.
Yeah.
It was like the John Cena chain.
Yeah, I know.
So that was cool. I saw that, and he got the go ahead home run, and we were kind of near that. So it was cool to see the whole stadium packed, and for that, and it was a good energy. San Diego, they're loving the Padres right now because the Padres are doing well. So it's cool to see them doing well. But you know, we kind of got there a little late, so we missed the whole thing. You were telling me before we recorded the whole umpire thing. We kind of, unfortunately, maybe a good thing we didn't see it. We missed the whole Tatis getting hurt. So we got there kind of towards the end. We're the terrible baseball fans to get there late. But we mostly there to drink and enjoy the atmosphere and eat. So it was a good time. But I forget, when there's a full capacity, we forget there's a crop of characters, or they kind of get in your way sometimes. I'm talking about the drunk people, los borrachos, and they're all different. You get that drunk guy that's very loud, obnoxious, wants to start fights, like kind of in your face. Then you get the kind of the drunk guy who is just very chatty and really kind of like close to you. And even I know with Kobe, we were all like, keep a distance. Coming off of, I always been stay away from you. That friend.
I've always been the same way.
Okay, I'm not very chatty. I'm like, hey, I'm not here with you. Don't talk to me. So I'll tell you the story, Fernando. And maybe I'm gonna embarrass myself a little bit, but it's kind of a funny story. So
not more than my backstory.
Yeah. Okay, so you talked about your backstory. I could talk about. I'll start with this. My white jeans. I wore white jeans, Fernando. I kind of see your face, and let me explain myself. So I wanted to do kind of a vacation, 1-day trip to San Diego. It was quick, go to a baseball game, but I also wanted to have fun, enjoy that nightlife. And it's been a minute, and I love San Diego's nightlife. The Gas Lamp, Gas Lamp very well. There's bars after bars, clubs after clubs, restaurants after restaurants. And I wanted to kind of combine. I didn't want to go back to the hotel. It was kind of a walk. So the game was at 4:00. By the time I'm out of the stadium, it's 7:30. The night's coming in. So I wanted to kind of be dressed up nice. And I had a haircut, I have a nice little haircut. My mustache was trimmed, and I was feeling myself, man. Like Deion Sanders says, when you look good, you play good. So I felt like that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna wear some white jeans and kind of be ready for the nightlife and have fun. And I guess I got the attention of some drunk dude. First of all, actually, I'm going off track. Maybe I should get back to that, but I had a michelada in my hand. Let me get back to the michelada thing, because it's very deceiving there. They called it $4.50 micheladas. They did not cost $4.50. I was pissed off. But I had my michelada, standing in line to get some nachos, and this kind of really tall dude, drunk, you could tell he was drunk, comes over, and he's like, "Hey, what's up? White jeans. I love the swag." I'm like, what? Like, who are you? He's like, just talking to me, and like, okay, like I don't know if he's trying to make fun of me, or he really likes my jeans. And but he like starts getting close to me and talking to me, and my partner and I are like, what's going on here? Like, why is he in our face? And like, why is he asking 10 questions? He's like asking like, how long we've been together? Do we have kids? I'm like, what's up with these hard questions? Like, I don't even get my friends to ask me these questions. You don't even ask me these questions.
Ni la suegra.
I don't get. I'm like, who are you? So it was just kind of interesting, and then he kept saying, "Hey, white jeans, white jeans." I'm like, okay, I get it. I have very unique pants. I like them. I don't care. You're not gonna try to like rattle me. So I'm like, you know what? After the third time, I was like, okay, it's looking you're trying to egg me out. So let me fire back. No me dejo. Like I have my barbs too, And I looked at him up and down, like, this drunk guy. He's wearing a blue shirt with khaki shorts, like he's going golfing, and very, very bright red shoes. I'm like, you're talking about white jeans. What's up with these red shoes? Like, it's a payaso over here, wearing khakis like he's 50 years old. I'm like, who wears khakis? Like, at least I'm trying to be, hip nowadays. Yeah. So he kind of got a laugh out of it, and then like he kind of said, "No, whole poquito." Like, oh, I guess I didn't know you're gonna come at me. But I kind of shook him off after, and he walked away with his red shoes, and he kind of leased onto somebody else and started talking. So I don't think he meant like bad will. He was just he was just a chatty borracho. And he wanted to talk, and I'm just not in the mood to talk, and especially trying to come at me, bro. But other than that, it was kind of cool to be around there were some good people there. Not everybody was annoying, But my other beef with Padres, Petco. First of all, I love the stadium. One of the best, beautiful stadiums I like. It's just the crowd's a little unique this time. I see a big sign that says Micheladas $4.50. I'm like, oh, what? Like Dodger Stadium, they're like $24. I'm gonna go and get in line and wait for this Michelada. What a bargain! And we get there, and the lady's kind of a little rude. I could tell she's kind of I don't know if I say this, but like an anti-masker. Like I was kind of wearing my mask to be a little cautious. I'm still kind of weird coming back to the real world, and she's like, take it off. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, sorry. And I was like, can I get a michelada? And she's like, it's $20. I'm like, $20? The sign says $4.50. And apparently it's like, you only get the cup with the little tajin and all that, but you got to buy the beer. And obviously the beer is like $16. Like, what kind of scam is this? So I kept telling myself, I have a bunch of, beef to pick with Fernando, and he's giving me, I'm gonna complain to him. Like, I know you're not gonna do anything about it, but I'm like, hey, I got lied to on the micheladas. I got a rude cashier and I got a rude drunk. But overall, I like San Diego. It was just, I need to complain to Fernando and check your city and check your stadium, man.
I don't drink. I would have told him to go screw off somewhere. And with her, I mean, I would have just been like, I would have just left the line. No, I just would have left. She doesn't deserve my money.
That's actually a good point. I should have walked. After I've been lied to, and it kind of like she got snippy with me.
The only reason why I kind of understand the whole like the mask thing is because the other day I went to go get dinner, and I was wearing a mask, and so was the waitress, and we were both kind of like, huh, like, huh.
Yeah.
And so like I was like, oh my god, you know what? And I took it off, and like she took hers off, and then we were like communicating and everything, and then she put her on, and that was it. But maybe she did it in a rude way. I don't know.
No, I can tell she hates the mask, and I guess I get it. They're annoying, but like I'm still kind of that mindset. I'm kind of used to it. Like whenever I'm in a big crowd, I just put it on. I know we don't have to anymore. But I was like, she like came at me like, dude, I'm not the one hurting your feelings. I know you hated wearing the mask for the last 15 months, but don't take it on me. I was like, oh man, but and
well, then she probably couldn't hear you.
I don't know. She gave me a death stare as soon as I walked in. Like,
I mean,
nobody was really wearing one. It was kind of funny, but like some of the I don't know. I shouldn't really get into it, but it was a good amount that did, and then a lot of people else that didn't. So you kind of notice who does and who doesn't. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yes, we're going back to normal and it's cool. But I could tell she had a whole beef with me just because I had it on. It's like,
well, maybe because you were complaining about how much the micheladas were.
No, that was after she yelled at me, and then she told me $20. I'm like, what? I just got berated for wearing a mask. I got mask.
Bro, maybe it was tip included.
But yeah, $16. She don't deserve a tip. But yeah, I should have been like your friend. I know you would have bounced like, nah. I'd
have been like, okay, I'm out of here then. No, and I've gotten that before. Just because I mean, I feel like I don't know if you probably noticed this. I mean, look at what happened with the Phoenix Suns crowd. Not this Sunday, but a couple of where the guy said Suns in 4 and he punched the dude in the face. Like fights are happening all over, and it's because people don't know how to behave. And I feel like, and I know this word like pisses people off, but I'll use it. Stuff triggers other people and they get triggered, and I mean the first reaction is boom, and I'm kind of like, okay, so some people are being some people are rude, some people are like weird. I don't know. I've gotten it too. Like one time recently I was at a restaurant and this guy throws out the F-bomb, and I'm like, bro, you're working. Like I understand, like we're cool, we're joking about something, but like courtesy, like you can't be throwing out F-bombs like when you're working and stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I think society needs a reset on how to behave when you're out and about and everything. But yeah, I mean, we're not the people to do that. We're here just enjoying it. But you like Petco Park? You thought it was awesome?
It's still one of my favorite ballparks. It still might be my best one. Dude, like I didn't even get to my seats because I love the atmosphere.
You never did?
No, I like to walk around. I love everything about Petco, and like the little hill, the little sand pit. The type of food they have, there's like a little row in the lower levels. I just love walking in and out there. For the most part, there's a lot of good people there. There's like a screen, and then you get the view of the baseball game anyway, so you're right there by the hill. So one thing we did is the game was really close, so we went to go watch the final inning. Because some people left, so there's a bunch of open seats. We went to go walk, and we're in a good lower level, and you just felt the energy, man, the crowd. And I'm kind of mad because we went a little late, and they were giving away Aloha shirts, the brown shirts. I don't even notice it. But by the way, now I think about it, I went late. They gave us 2 vouchers to pick up our Aloha shirts on September, I forget, 21st. Go pick them up for me, okay? I'll give you the tickets. You're
September
right there.
21st.
I know, I'm mad. I have to wait for a month, but everybody was rocking the Aloha shirts, so it was all covered in brown. So I just love the energy. I know I grew up in LA, and I grew up.
That was my next question. Did you wear an LA Dodgers cap,
No,
or were you?
You know me. I'm a reporter. I got to keep it neutral. So those days of kind of rocking gear, I'm not really into that anymore. But I kind of felt like weird. I'm kind of rooting for the Padres.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
I mean, I feel like we can I feel like we can still rock, and I know that, but I feel like we can still like rock like I like the SD hats, like, and I'll put one on and I'll have it on and stuff like that. So
that's where you're from.
No, and I mean, I feel like you could have rocked in. Well, that's not the atmosphere to rock in LA. An LA hat.
I saw somebody wear a Bellinger jersey, and I'm like, that guy's brave.
Yeah, no, especially in that huge crowd. I mean, it's just crazy. But I'm glad you guys had fun. I mean, I take pride in my city. I feel like San Diego's a really cool place where you get to come, relax, kind of enjoy yourself, kind of get out of everything that's going on in the world. And it's kind of like a bubble in a sense. So that's why I kind of like living here, because it's kind of like a bubble. Like you really don't have to. I don't know. It's relaxing. Like I said, I like it.
No, dude. Yeah. So I got a hotel in downtown. I guess everybody had the same idea of like, cause it's vacation time. So the hotel I was in was crowded with families, and you could tell everybody was there from out of town because San Diego is a destination spot. I love their downtown. I love Gaslamp. I love Petco. I love the food, and they're right next to the beach. So I'm like, I kind of messed up. I didn't realize, like, again, I don't like a lot of people, but that hotel was packed, and it was kind of nice still at the same time that, we're getting back to normal and people want to get out, and that's cool to see, but keep the kids away from me. I'm not ready for that.
That's where the Charger Stadium was supposed to be, right next to Petco. Kind of like
really,
yeah, kind of like on this, like, so Petco's like right here. It's supposed to be like right next to it. They were gonna move some like MTS location, and even Dean had said, Mr. Spanos had said that he wanted to build a bridge between both stadiums, so just in case if Padre fans were done with their midday game and the Chargers played at night, that they could go over and go catch the game, or the other vice versa. If the Chargers played at 1:00 and the Padres played at 5 or 6, you could you could use the bridge to go over to the game. So it was a cool idea. It was a good. I thought it was going to be a really cool kind of avenue because you have everything there in downtown, and like you said, you have the Gaslamp, but it ended up not coming into fruition. But honestly, I love that downtown area. I think it's really nice. I think Petco Park is in a great location. I feel like fans really enjoy it because as soon as you're done and you come out of the stadium, there's so many bars, so many restaurants open, and you don't have to struggle to find food or a place to go drink.
Yeah, it might be my favorite downtown in the country. I've been to a good amount of cities. I guess Nashville is pretty cool, fun when I've been there. When I went to Dallas, their downtown was boring. It was quiet. There was nothing there. Like you have to go to Arlington and all that stuff. You have to go outside for fun.
Vegas has a good one.
Well, yeah, it's the Strip. So I just think about that as more like upper level. Like you're not even in the class of Vegas. But I feel like for regular downtown.
No, I just meant like now with the T-Mobile Arena and the Legion Stadium.
But even that's technically that's not their downtown.
Well,
But that's where you go, and it's right there.
Yeah.
But I feel like in terms of some being the best of the best, like I like Denver. It's pretty good. I like that one. But San Diego, I still think it's maybe Vegas, San Diego, and some other few. I'm sure there's a good amount, but I don't really like LA's downtown. I go outside of LA to have fun. San Francisco, maybe San Francisco kind of low. I don't know. It's too crowded, too hilly. I don't know about all that. But San Diego, after I was done with the baseball game, me and my white jeans, we had fun and Gaslamp.
There you go. That's all you can really do. But Gilbert, for now, I mean, I think, unless you want to keep on talking about your white jeans.
No, I just
no.
I want to say I felt bold and I felt like trying something new, and maybe I'll bring them back. But
I love that I hope you bring them back for training camp. I love that you stood up for yourself. By the way, I love that you went back at that guy and you called him clown shoes.
Yeah, because after a while, I was like, okay, bro, like one, it's cool. Like maybe when people try to like say a backhanded compliment, I'm like, whatever, bro, you're drunk. I ignore it. And then it was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm confident in myself. I know I can rock them. I'm not some old guy. And
I feel you.
But I'm like, dude, like, come on, you got the red shoes here. Like, at least match with your shoes. But whatever. And say no poquito, and he left kind of salty. But hey, when you bring it, you gotta also take it. So it works out.
Exactly. But for now, Gilbert, vámonos.
Ya nos vamos, pues vámonos.